for the Fremont School Board for Tuesday, August 13th at 6:30, and if we could just stand to the flag, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do a roll call, please.
Brady's here.
Keen here.
Cole over here.
And old business. I think we're going to talk about our school board evaluation and goals later on in the evening. I think that was old business because it came up at the last meeting.
Yes, it's under action items.
Okay.
I can, next time I set up, I'll try and make sure that under old business, action items for old business are.
Okay. No other old business? Agenda revisions, we do have a few. They're
Yes.
in front of you.
Yeah, I have a whole packet there for you listed out and information to go with it for agenda items that we'd like to add tonight. I know you don't like anything to be given to you that you have to make a quick decision on, so I'm just saying that none of that you have to decide on tonight. If you are able to and comfortable, great. If you don't want to have any of it, you can do that too. But it's what has come in since the packet went out.
Okay. Approval of minutes for the public minutes of July 23rd. Did anybody have any changes? I was not here. The only thing I noticed was that when there were votes, it should be 4-0, not 5-0.
Oh.
I'm on the right minute, they do. The
There's only one
23rd.
set, yeah.
Okay, so on page 2, it's under the informational items.
Mm-hmm.
Paragraph starts, Mr. Fraser gave an update on legally.
Mm-hmm.
I think Carrie's name is K-E-I, not K-E-R-R-Y.
Oh,
Carrie Sabaluski?
Yeah,
It's K-E-R-I.
okay.
I
And
didn't know
it's-
I'm friends with her, so I.
and it's Sabaluski, L-E-W-S-K-I,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But a good try, Sue.
I only knew because I saw it in an email.
Yeah.
Jeremy corrects me every night.
I have a few things.
Okay.
Number 7, board communications and reports. The policy is BA and BAA. We have policy AD there. And I can give you a copy of this if you want to. And then down at the very bottom of the page, Comcast was supposed to be setting up a repeater. That was my fault, it's not a repeater. I was thinking you were talking about a police repeater.
Right.
No, and I'm not sure what you call that thing. It was some kind of a hub for,
Right. Mr. Brown knew
for
what
the
it was.
cable.
Yeah.
Right.
So I just call it a hub.
Modulator.
Hub, modulator?
That's
a modulator.
Modulator, okay.
Yep, it's a modulator.
So that was my fault, I want to correct that. And then next page, under public input, down, second paragraph from the bottom that starts with Dr. Cox Vito. It, just for clarification purposes, it's not an error, but I'd like to add it. Focus school money is also Title I money. I think that'll be clarifying for people.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else? Any changes? So do I have a motion to approve as amended? Do
Motion to approve is amended.
I have a second? Second. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, I'm actually abstaining, I wasn't there.
Okay.
I think they look good though. All right. Board Superintendent Communications and Reports. Do we want to just jump right to? Do you have anything, Betsy, that you want to
Nothing
talk
to add
about?
on here, so I think that unless there's a question on the report, that is pretty simple at this point.
I'm good.
The superintendent's report, everybody else all set with that? Okay. And the only thing, the list of grants that we're not able to apply for, I think if we keep that running as to what those
I'll
things
get
are.
back to it.
And then maybe when we start to do the budgeting, talk about possibility of maybe trying to anticipate some of those, or putting a warrant article together that allows us to have some contingency grant money with maybe some description, or whatever we all decide as a board at some point, but I would love to keep that in the forefront to keep it running.
Alright,
Um,
so, okay, so you want this, this report in the first meeting of every month?
Yeah, Betsy could
When
just
I turn
include
in
it in
my
her-
usual report, which I guess I only have to write one for the first meeting, I'm just keeping that spreadsheet on my desk, on my
Alright.
computer, and every time a grant comes up, I just keep adding to it. And I'll just keep giving it to you every month.
Right, because I'm on your website, I get grant.
If you send me, if you see something, any of you, send it to me and I'll add it to
I
it.
will, I'll do that.
Okay.
Race to the top, did that like go away and then come back?
It's annual.
Oh,
It comes back up. And they have like $5 million, and I just figured we might want to apply for 100,000, but we could apply for a lot more than that, so, you
Do
know.
we have to qualify as a race to the top school? Like applying?
You can apply as a specific school for the money, at any time that they come around with the next budget cycle.
Okay.
What's that money for, and what kind of
Improvement.
strings are attached to it?
Basically, it's like the Title I funds, you know, you have to be a part of the state assessment system. If you take Title I, you have to make sure you're in compliance with everything in Title I. But it's improvement money. For example, if you wanted to hire a curriculum person for the year, or if you wanted to bring in consultants to work with building assessments, or helping with the implementation of intervention programs, that kind of thing, you'd probably be able to get some funds. You're not gonna be able to buy textbooks, you're not gonna be able to do that sort of stuff,
Right.
but you can get assistance from people.
Is it a private grant or?
No, it's a federal government.
I mean, are we required to have the core, whatever it is,
The Common Core,
Common Core in order to apply for this grant?
they would, yeah, this would be one, they would be wanting you to work for using the Common Core,
All right.
yeah.
Okay, and then we have the Lamprey Healthcare School-Based Dental Program stats. And then we have the principal's report. Did anybody have any questions for John on that? Did everybody read the school handbook from cover to cover?
I read the red parts.
Read it last year.
The red parts.
The red parts.
Because you already read the black parts
I
last year.
did.
They're very good.
Okay. So, I think we do need to approve that tonight, right?
We have it down in the action items section.
So we'll carry on until
Yeah.
then.
If I might just make a statement, you can like or dislike and let me know how you want me to do things.
Okay.
What I'll usually do is if there is an action item in a report, I will take it out of the report and add it to the action items section so that the
Okay.
report stands alone. And then those, you can discuss the action items in the other section.
Okay. Gotcha. So then, going through the principal's report right now, we wouldn't take any action on this right now?
No.
Okay. Okay, does anybody have any questions for John on his report?
No.
Okay. And the handbook as well, that's all going to action. Special education coordinators report, which is all the way down. Sarah did a nice report for us. 46. Did anybody have any questions? I know Sarah's not here, but probably Betsy could answer. Anybody?
It's primarily informational.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Sounds like the summer program went well, though.
certainly was busy.
Yeah.
First-hand experience, my daughter loved it.
Oh,
She
good.
did her work, but also she just finished one tonight, she's all proud.
Nice.
Did her letter.
Positive experience.
And then we have the technology report. How's Carlos settling in?
Very well, she's doing a great job.
Good.
A busy lady.
Yeah. Okay. Business administrators report. I think we had a couple of additional reports that Lori also gave us. in our
I
packet.
had to break this out into 3 sections. Just a lot going on. What fun you.
I'll pass it down.
That's right. Now, this is part 3 about the grants.
Okay.
So part 1 is actually just kind of giving you a recap, an update of the general fund.
Is that the same one that
We have it,
We
yeah.
have it already.
Oh, okay, all right, super, oh, jeez. So all the revenues for the general fund have been collected. So we took in excess of $65,356. I've written my report in such a way so that there's sort of like a tracking record of what the next steps will be for a successor. Under general fund expenditures, we actually have an amount remaining unspent of $101,549. Most all encumbrances have come in, you know, give or take a couple of very small scraggler bills that we're not surprised that did come in. So that 101 and that 65 will go towards
Thank you.
your unassigned fund balance.
And that's what gets sent back to the town?
Yes, essentially, it's applied to offset your tax rate in the fall. Included in these numbers, I've also taken into consideration the warrant article number 5, which was passed by the public to transfer $10,000 to the expendable trust funds for turning it over to the trustees of the trust funds. And in addition, I've also been in
Thank you
touch
for
with
the
Pat
song.
Martell, the trustee, giving her a heads up that we will be looking for $10,000 to also come from the fund to go to Lowe's to pay for the window project. So that's something that, once all the documents are in place and you go through and have a public meeting on that, quite possibly this could happen at the next, at our next board meeting, so that we can put that in place. Any questions on the general fund?
Just, so we're gonna offset the tax rate by 166,906 total?
Right.
Okay. That's good because the impact would have been much bigger because of the budget we brought in this year. That's good news.
Yes, it is.
Going forward on the food service account, I did include some supporting documentation just to show you that cafe services total operations and expenses in the program this past year was $152,321. That amount is all that we are required to pay to them, which is why we received a refund to basically bring the contract price, total cost of operations and expenses at $152,321. And this budget, there's a sheet in here that I included. If you wanted to, or if there are no questions, see? Let me find this. So here's this magic number right here, total expenses in the program. Included in the program costs are their administration fee, $12,500.
So we haven't gotten a response from him yet? Or is it?
No, I have asked for something in writing. I was told I would have it by noon yesterday. I followed up with their office with another email today at noon, as well as phone calls to him and the president of the company. And did not hear back from them. So I've explained that we just simply are not in a position that we can be on the hook for a general fund subsidy of $8,200. Kathy Hodges at the State Bureau of Nutrition has said, it is clearly well within your righs you know, in support of the district and talking about this issue, that you need to have justification from them, how they arrive at their numbers and breaking it down into more and more details, so.
Is there a possibility he could pull his bid for the contract?
Well, without a signed contract, he has nothing.
All right.
He really has nothing. We have nothing in place really right now.
So what would happen
Yeah,
if they
push.
decide not to do lunch and kids show up early?
How are you at,
Oh, Janet,
tuna fish
I would make a
sandwiches?
good team by John sandwich.
No peanut butter.
I
Jelly
heard from Janet
marshmallow?
today. She's coming back next week to get ready, so I'm sure that's not gonna happen.
Jelly and fluff, the kids will love it.
So you don't think they're gonna walk on us?
We gotta find, we have an obligation to know what the money is. We have an obligation to everybody to do that, to ourselves, the taxpayers.
Well,
And,
they returned 10,000 to us this year, right, or something to that effect?
Well, that's what I was alluding to when I showed you the actual cost of the operations for this past
Didn't
year.
some of your documents
in June.
tell us that we received a check from them?
Right, that's what I
Okay.
was referring to,
Okay.
right, what we paid out versus when they finally reconciled the cost of the contract. The whole cost of operations was $152,000.
Okay.
We paid them $162 because that's what we had billed,
Mhm.
and that's part of the reconciling process. They owed us back that
Okay.
$10,000. My question to him is pretty black and white, I think pretty blunt, is please justify for us how you have a 38% increase in the food cost.
Mhm.
That's
Okay.
That's
So
what
we'll
we're
let
looking
you
to
know.
do, because that's really the big cost driver in the program.
Can't blame a volunteer for that.
No, no. So-
well, you can.
Good try.
After today, I'd say I should definitely hear that.
You can blame them for everything.
I'll blame him for
We're
everything.
not on the
So,
So we have got to figure out, you know,
Okay.
if we don't hear, what we're gonna do.
so part 2 of my report is actually, this part 2 is for 2013-14. And it just pretty much outlines how, you know, revenue will be affected going forward, setting the tax rate, and where we are in doing encumbrances. So I think we're in good, you know, we started off on a good note as far as process and procedure is concerned, so I would give Yvonne to thank for that. And then lastly, my report that I appreciate your patience, and as I needed to be able to really spend some time and just kind of hunker down and be able to reconcile all of the grants through June 30th. And so again, we are in good shape. We're going to have just a little bit of Title I money being carried over, and that is what supported the July funding of the Title I program, and as well as the Title II grant that goes through 2014. So actually, all these figures here are all put together well in the grant so that they can just come right in and audit those very simply the way I have it set up. So that's all I have.
Have we heard anything about insurance rates at all, given Affordable Care Act? I mean, are we aware of any possible changes in our premiums going into January 1st?
Usually I would be asking, I can certainly put a feeler out
Right.
to the local government center. It's a little bit early, usually you're doing that in the beginning of October when you
Right.
start developing your budget, but I can
Mhm.
certainly pave the way to that discussion so that there's following through. Yeah. I will let you know. And actually, it's one other action item. You did ask at a last meeting about third-party energy sources.
Oh, yeah.
We are partnered with the town through InterSeas on our PSNH bills. And it's really just for the cost of supply.
Right.
And that does come through our invoicing, so far so good.
Okay, the enrollment, does anybody have any questions for Laurie?
No, good
The
job.
the enrollment report is attached to the report. Looks like we're going to be dropping
I have an updated one, I was asked to bring an updated one from today, because we had our open enrollment today.
Uh-huh.
We're at 428 total.
Okay.
Oh, so it's-
And I received a call from a family today that's thinking of moving to the area with 7 children.
Oh my goodness.
And we're waiting on another 3 preschool applications, so we might have 10 more the next time this week's either.
So it could be 438, which is about where we're at now.
So, but right now we're at 428, which was the projected amount in our budget, so we're right on target.
Of course, we haven't received transcript requests from people who are enrolled elsewhere yet, so there may be some balance to that. I just want to mention that Scott's report is also, if you wanted to keep it in reports, is also in your extra packet.
Right, I saw that.
He's on vacation, or no, not, he was on vacation, and I told him he didn't have to write a report, but he insisted, so,
Oh, good.
yeah, he's a hard worker.
And the windows are in, those new windows.
Good luck.
Yeah.
I mean, drive by, couldn't.
Good, yeah. They're much safer. Great.
Oh, good. Okay, Title I-A, Services and Personnel. Information items.
Okay, this
Do we
is
want to
inform-
move this one?
Yeah, this is informational, because there's no expectation that you would make a decision tonight regarding this. It depends on the level of comfort, it can wait until next time. But we gave you a big packet. I don't know if you have any questions on it. What we did was we looked at the needs of the building and determined that intervention services would benefit by having the math intervention addressed, and also still having more time for the reading teacher to be able to do both Title I and other students as well. The money is available, as it turned out in the budget, you can see from the lines, and so we are suggesting to the board that they consider the establishment of that, or the establishment of that position. It is a little different, so there's a job description that changes it. But we feel it would be in the best interest of students to do that. So, do you want to add anything to that?
I think that what will be really good is the fact that we will have to focus on math. With Title I, when we do the grant, we can either focus on reading and math, or just reading, we can do it that way. And I think that having her, having a Title I person work, gathering math data, working with teachers and being almost like a specialist for math, and especially with interventions for students, I think it would be very useful. Because we don't have anybody right now in the building that kind of solely focuses on math.
So when we did the budget and the Title I was taken away, John, what was the plan when that was suggested to be dropped? What was that money
Well,
gonna go to instead, I guess is what.
Well, it was, I think I put that in my report too. What the suggestion, what happened was I was approached and said that with the sequestration, what we were looking at is that we are gonna be short with grant money, and with the increase of the transportation costs and so forth, that we needed to cut somewhere else. And what suggestions could we make? And Sarah made a suggestion as far as looking at the social worker, because that's a grant funded position. And if her grant was going to be cut, then that was going to be an issue. If the sequestration was going to take a lot of Title I money away, that's why I made that suggestion. If we're facing a sequestration of no Title I funds, then that was my obvious choice.
Okay, so you didn't even.
It was
the
a
money wasn't
fiscal
gonna be
thing.
spent somewhere else, it wasn't gonna, you didn't think it was gonna be there, and it is.
Well, it had to be, it was
It had to be.
anticipated as $45,000 in revenue.
revenue.
Therefore, somewhere in the budget, that $45,000 was going to be allocated. We're guessing that it was going to pay for the reading specialist. It was going to be used as salary offset.
Okay,
Is a reasonable guess,
okay.
because that's really the only place it could be used, according to the grant requirements.
Okay, so now, because we did this and it's within the year, does it matter personnel-wise what we do with that position? Is it something we just would reinstate the people that were in the position, or is it something where you have to,
If you add the position, you have to reverse ref.
okay,
So the position would go to Melissa Owens.
okay.
So you'd have first refusal, let me put it that way.
Okay. Those are my questions. Does anybody else have any questions?
If we wait till the 27th to vote on this, that's the day school starts to have that big of an impact if we wait that long?
Title I typically takes a week, couple of weeks to get going. You have to identify and re-identify students, and so, you know, if she started a little late, it would be okay. It would be nice for her to know she has a job, just as a kindness. So we leave that up to the board. It's your level of comfort on whether or not you're ready to make that decision.
I would recommend that we just bring it to the action items and talk about it there and make a motion.
Yeah.
Somebody can make a motion if they're comfortable, and then we can go from there, okay? So we'll move it down to an action item after public input, and that way it gives people in the audience a chance to maybe speak up too.
Very good.
And just one last thing is that the decision was made not so much of a need, but more of as a fiscal impact than a need impact. I didn't really want to cut the position, but we looked at a fiscal need. But if
Right,
we have the
there
money
is-
in the budget, now I'm coming back and saying I would like to see.
So we're not losing something else by possibly doing this?
We've captured funds that have not been used in other ways. Salaries that are lower.
Okay.
I put in the, yeah,
Just through attrition.
yeah, through attrition, a few
Okay.
other things, so.
So this will cover the reading and the math, everything, right? This position?
The position would be specifically math. Reading
Okay,
would still be
okay.
picked up by the reading specialist and the paraprofessional that are
Okay.
there, so.
And the past position used, was it for reading
For-
also?
For reading.
Okay, so we're just kind of switching it up a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. The idea is to get math in there as well.
great.
She mostly did math. She focused on, mostly did reading. She focused on math after school and summer
Okay.
tutoring.
And I saw in here that you'd be able to have those programs continue the after school.
The homework club was called, right?
And the homework club and the summer school program.
Great.
Okay. So moving that to action items. Recognition clause discussion.
Okay, I gave you an information sheet on this, so that you would be aware, because when the question of the resignation of the present guidance counselor came up, and you had that under action items, John and I discussed it, and apparently in discussions last year, there was consideration for cutting a position based upon the standards. And John and I had a discussion about that, and he felt that comfortably a three-quarter position could cover what's needed for the school. And this is a good time to do it. You know, rather than cutting someone, then you'd be bringing someone in at a three-quarter position. Now, the question became, looking at contracts, we wanted to make sure that the union was aware that we were considering a three-quarter position. And I went in and I looked at the contract, and the recognition clause does not include guidance. Therefore, it is not a part of the union and should not be receiving a union contract, but it has been. There's recent case law about this, and one of the reasons I'm aware of it is because my home district has been involved in recent case law with this. And I did consult Peter Phillips regarding this, and he sent the letter that you have in your packet, stating that, yes, indeed, guidance is not a part of the recognition clause, and neither is the media specialist in the school. And that his legal opinion is that the district has no obligation regarding the union on those positions because of that. He suggests that this is something that should be taken a look at by negotiations this fall. Should those positions want to be included in the contract, they should be bargained into the clause. The board does not have to ask the union for a three-quarter position, they can make that decision freely on their own. So that's what we're recommending. But that's information for the action items at this point.
And just so that I understand, so when we do a reduction in force, does the superintendent go to the union and say, we have to reduce so many positions? Is that what happens?
There is a requirement in the collective bargaining agreement that the union be notified when there is consideration of a reduction.
Okay.
And usually in the budget season, this is done well in advance.
Mhm.
Even if you just, if the idea crosses your mind, it's a courtesy to let the union know.
It's not so much that they're obviously giving permission, but it's just
Correct.
that, it's to basically inform.
Right, it is to inform, it's to let them know so that they can be aware.
Mhm.
And which is why we had talked about sending an email to them, letting them know we were considering this. And then I took a look at the contract and saw that they were not in the recognition clause, so it isn't required. But we still did notify them.
Okay.
So with the, with trying to go with the .75, no longer having the social worker and having possibly the counselors taking over, certain services, will there be enough time in that by cutting?
We talked about at .5 actually, I mentioned a .5 and John said he felt that with the social workers cut that .75 would be able to handle that.
And Sarah is including in her IDEA budget, I believe, in the grant, contracted services for the high school and for some more needy students.
So we'll vote on that as well down in the action items.
Right, yeah, this is just information about the recognition clause,
Okay.
so that you're aware.
And then the org chart is also in here, which was, I found very helpful.
I like it, it's nice.
Do you have any questions on it? There are some things in there that could be questionable. One, I do have the building and grounds director answering to the principal, and I don't know if you want that person answering to the superintendent or the principal.
Is that different than what used to happen?
What's that?
I'm not aware.
I think mostly the superintendent, but I was kind of a representative the other way.
Right,
We
yeah,
worked together on it, you know, I mean, it wasn't that he necessarily answered to me, I mean,
yeah, that
but
would be
I know
the
the
question.
superintendent, did an evaluation,
Mm.
I think in the past on him.
Oh, okay.
And that would change if this model went this way, yeah. Because this is the line of command, chain of command, and whoever evaluates is the person, you know, above it. So that's something that the board needs to look at in terms of that question. I put this together with a lot of questions in my mind, so.
Sure. I think I would like to see that, like what's the special ed director and maybe along the same line as
So,
that.
okay,
With a, obviously, a connection to the principal,
Okay.
kind of like the tech director is, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he does build his own budget, right, John?
Mhm.
Like, yeah.
They make that a diamond.
Yes, I was just thinking the exact same thing. I think that's gonna turn into a diamond.
Yep,
Yeah.
yeah, that'd be good.
There was one other thing I think I was gonna mention.
Did anybody else have any ideas on that?
No, I learned some things,
What
What'd you learn?
the second, I guess that's Sue, right? I just, you know, and when I first read it, I thought it was Yvonne, but no, it's Sue.
Yeah.
And your school board clerk and your treasurer are there because they're part of the organization, but they are not answerable. They are elected, so, you know, and I had to learn that because in some districts, they are hired by the board, or appointed by the board instead of elected.
Well, we might need to appoint a clerk. We don't have one right now, right?
I've been pulling together some information, so I can at least do like a public packet, solicit.
Yeah, yeah.
That must be a time, yeah, that's a good time
We'll
first.
need to do that.
Okay. So I will move building and grounds under the superintendent along with the three that are there.
Mhm.
We'll build something of a diamond.
Mhm.
Really, you think the building ground should be on the superintendent?
Well, that's what the discussion was. I mean, I put
I like the way the tech director is, the same thing for building and grounds director.
Because, you know, I mean, John's there every day, he can see the building, he sees what's going on.
That's
I mean,
right.
As opposed to you having to you know, I mean, he.
And that was my thought.
And the other thing too, I mean, something needs to be done, he can say immediately, he doesn't have to, someone has to call you and say, oh, the bathroom, blah, blah, and then you have to call
Well,
him and say, someone just called, John called me to tell you that, you know, because if he's under you, you're the one who has to
Evaluate.
evaluate.
Exactly.
And I actually think it makes more sense for it to be under John, because he can see every day what's going on, and he can, you know, help him prioritize what's happening if he doesn't mind the responsibility.
So you feel
I
more
think he
than-
should, I think he should be under the superintendent.
Really?
Yeah.
we work
Let's ask him. if he
together.
wants.
I mean, I think that that's what he would expect, that he would be working under the superintendent.
Yeah.
But, you know, we work in the building together. If there's a toilet that's clogged or so, if somebody has to do something, we don't have to call it Betsy to ask. You know, we don't, it's not that answer.
That's
You
what the
know?
triangle's for.
So that's what the triangle's
See, the
for,
tech
so,
director, the tech director would be working close with John, and
you know, if, for example, we come in the morning and there's no heat, because the boiler's down, he informs me so I can take care of the students in the classrooms and inform the superintendent, because it may be a big bill coming if the boiler's
Right.
broken.
There is one other reason to put it under the superintendent, and that is that he does take care of this building as well.
Oh, he does?
Yes. He comes here and the cleaning is done by him here, he sees to anything that needs to be done
Oh,
with stuff, so he is responsible for this as well.
okay.
Yeah. So I'll make that change and bring it back to the board on the 27th, and you can take a look again, see if any other thoughts have come up, and make a decision, hopefully then, if not, you know, it'll still be there.
now, the way the special ed director, case manager, paraprofessionals are, do the paras answer to the case managers who answer to Sarah, or do the paras answer to Sarah? Because the way that looks, it looks like
Right.
case managers are running the paras.
Yeah, they supervise,
They
do they do the
They
evaluation?
do the evaluations,
Oh,
they do
okay.
the supervision, yes.
Okay.
All right.
But, I mean, they work closely with Sarah and so.
Right.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay.
Well, case managers do the pair evaluations, they should be under case managers.
Okay.
Very good, thank you very much.
Thank you. Public input, did anybody sign? Jody?
Hi. Hi. I know you were here last meeting, but I was here at the last meeting about Title I, so I'm back about Title I.
Okay.
And Mr. Safina called me this afternoon and kind of explained some things to me, because I had a question that I emailed him and Dr. Cox a few weeks ago. And so I'm just here to say that I really would appreciate the consideration in keeping the program. I think it's beneficial. There's many children that benefit, that aren't on an IEP or 504, that just need a little something, and this gives that to them. I know my daughter has benefited hugely from it, and can't say enough good things about the program and Melissa Holmes, so that's all.
Okay, thanks. Sue?
Yeah, I said possibly, I just wanted to see what the discussion was, sorry. Sue Levine, 782 Road Drive. And I would just add my support for being able to maintain the Title I services. I appreciate the effort to try to find the funds to be able to keep that going. And it looks like there's a lot of decisions to be made tonight. So I'll be interested to kind of hear how that goes. I've missed the past couple meetings, so I'm a little bit out of the loop on that. But I did want to ask, I had been looking at the minutes, and I don't know, maybe I missed it online, but did the letter go out to the people who had written in, the teachers and staff?
No, not yet.
Okay.
There was a paragraph that had to be changed, that I'm supposed to change, and I didn't do it yet.
Okay.
Just one, there's actually one line that Greg asked for us to change that I haven't done yet.
Okay. So when that goes out, they'll still be in the minutes?
Yes,
Okay.
Yep. It'll be part of the public record.
I did also wonder a little bit about along the same lines of what Tammy was saying in terms of guidance and coverage, because I know, when we were looking at possibly having to reduce a guidance counselor when the budget committee had made that cut last year, there was concern about the fact that we have a separate middle school and a separate elementary school, and if you looked at just, you know, the requirements for one, we were okay, but I know there are a lot of 504 plans and IEPs to manage, and just from a resource perspective, but if, you know, I guess my question is, I feel like a lot of times administration makes decisions because they have to from a budget perspective, and so they make do with what they have, but if they really feel like that's the right decision for the school, then I support that, as opposed to making the best of a bad situation or a tough budget constraint. So that would be just, I don't know if that's a question or.
You know, just to explain how the whole process works, we look to John and Betsy to tell us what they think would work. And then the board basically goes with their recommendation most of the time.
Right.
And there are budget constraints, unfortunately, in every district and in every place you work. So it has to, in my opinion, you have to look at both sides. You have to look at the money, and you have to look at what the kids need and enrollment, and how we're gonna handle it, and can the caseload be met by a .75 versus a full-time. And I think that's what John and Betsy have done in this situation. Could they go with a .5 or could they go with a .75? Or a 1? What do they need there? And I think there was a lot of discussion on that amongst themselves before they made the decision.
Right. And it looked like, I don't know, I was trying to read through things as it was going up on the screen, but it sounded like the Title I piece was being funded in part by the reduction in the guidance. If I was reading that correctly, so.
We did it both ways, with or without. We offered the board both options.
Okay, all right.
So the chart you would have seen said we needed $46,586 for the Title I, right? To make that happen the way you would like it to happen. And so this spreadsheet,
It ends
I
up
don't think
that we
takes.
don't really need transfers for
Right.
that, because
Right.
it's already in the lines.
Right.
So there won't have to be any action, but that's the way we would think of it.
Sure.
And when we're looking and have the lines in our minds as to how the.
Yeah, no,
funds
so,
get
yeah,
spent.
one's already available.
Yeah.
Right, so I don't see that coming out of guidance at all to do this, correct?
They don't have to, no. But we, that's one of the ways that
It
we
was
think
listed
about
as an
stuff.
option.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Right.
I mean, it was a way of transferring one source of aid to students to another, to redirecting money that's already been allocated for students to move it in another direction. That's all,
Mhm.
kind of how it follows.
So if we didn't end up using that money for, to fund the Title I, the reduction in the guidance counselor, where does that money go? Do we lose it, or?
It stays on the line for the year, and we'll see if there's anything else that we need it for. Or at the end of the year, if it's not used, it would go back to the town.
Okay. Thank you.
And Christine, you want to maybe stay for non-public? Okay, that's at the end of the meeting, I believe.
We might want to move that.
Sure, we could, I'm sure the board wouldn't mind.
The board can move that anywhere it likes to. We just have to send everybody outside.
Right, right. And Don, did you want to say anything at this point?
I don't know where the appropriate spot to speak to you is. I know that you had invited me to this meeting, and I appreciate the heads up on that one. Regarding the librarian position, I had some input on that, but I'm not sure public forum is necessarily where you want that input. Where would be the best place to speak with you on that?
The library and CBA.
Yes,
the
discussion, right.
Clause.
Right.
the
Right. I just want to.
Recognition clause, which I always want to say description clause. I
Yeah,
don't know
well,
why.
that's sort of a description.
Right.
I think probably in a non-meeting part of the meeting. Do you think, Betsy?
Non-public meeting?
No,
It doesn't,
non-meeting.
well, it depends, if we're not talking about a person, it can be covered in public session.
Okay.
I mean, basically, the recognition clause did not include those two positions, media specialist nor guidance, and we've had legal opinion on it. So, the board's position is that they're not in there.
Okay. The feedback that I would have, obviously being union president, is that the librarian position right now, if it were a media specialist like a lot of other schools have that is in charge of the media but does not have direct contact with the students, I would agree with that legal representation. However, the librarian in our school teaches 7 classes a day exactly the same way our music teacher, our computer teacher, phys ed teacher, and art teacher currently do. And so I would ask that you take a look at that, because the definition is that certified direct contact with students, and our position would be that it's no different than the music and the art teacher. And so I would ask that you look at that before making your decision, and then if you still go in that direction, then obviously we would need to have discussions at some other point, and we can go in that direction.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
thank you. Okay, I don't think there's anybody else. Kathy, do you want to say anything?
No.
Okay, so where should we put the non-public so that Christine doesn't have to wait all night?
It's up to you, you can do it anytime.
We do it now.
Yeah, why don't we make a motion to go into non-public to discuss, let me get that. No, it's a different subject, and I'm assuming, Christine, you want it in non-public.
Oh, okay.
It's in your red folder.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, we need a motion to go into non-public with a roll call vote for RSA 91A3, Roman numeral 2C.
So moved.
Second,
Roll call.
phrase aye.
Kit, aye?
Keen, aye.
All for aye.
Okay, so we'll go into non-public for, I want to say,
Yeah.
Oh, because
we're back in public session, and we are going to recess for about 5 minutes. We're back in public session for the meeting of August 13th, and we're going right to action items. We're going to set the date and time for the board self-evaluation meeting, which has to happen in August according to policy. So I was thinking the next meeting, which is the 27th of August. If we met perhaps 4 o'clock, if everybody could do that, we could do like a little, some potluck dinner type thing and do our goals and evaluation before our meeting. Maybe we don't need it to be at 4, maybe we could do it at 5 and do an hour and a half. It's to basically evaluate how we've done with a school board evaluation form that we use, and then to go over any goals and to look at the strategic plan.
How long did it take us this past year? Was it 2 sessions or did we get done in 1?
No, I think it was just 1.
We met on Thursday night, I think, over at the school.
That was 2 years ago.
Yes, 3 years ago.
And we got interrupted a bunch of times because the alarm kept going off.
Yes, I remember that.
That was a lot of fun, that
That
meeting.
was mission and strategic plan, it wasn't an evaluation.
Oh, yeah, this is, yeah.
That was different.
So we could do 4 or 5 o'clock. We could do 5 o'clock and then just carry on after the meeting if we're not done. On the 27th.
Carrying on, huh?
I'd rather meet at 4. And
Okay.
the reason for that is that it gives us, maybe half an hour to decompress. And get ready for the school board.
So does August 27th, Tuesday at 4 o'clock work for everybody?
Yes. I don't know, can you make it,
I can make it work.
you can make it work?
I can make it work.
All right, so can I.
Okay. So be it.
And where we're gonna meet here?
Yep.
SAU?
Mhm.
Took care of 2 action items at once.
Yep. Okay, accounts payable and payroll manifests.
We're doing that too.
Is that you, Tammy?
This one?
Oh, gosh,
Yes,
not yet.
The 2 of them.
Oh, you haven't done it yet?
I didn't sign off on the last one, so.
Oh, okay. Did Sharon already sign off on all of them?
I think she did.
Yes, she did. She did.
Okay, so,
Let me ask them to
she
show.
didn't leave me with any notes on any of that.
Quick question. John is bugging my ear. Does
Okay.
he need to be at that meeting next time? Does the board want
For
him
the
to be?
strategic plan, missions. Do you want me? I know you asked me questions last time.
Did we have you there last time?
No, but it was, well, the last
wanna
time,
be
no,
there?
the time before that I was. I wasn't there, but you didn't call me down for questions, but
Oh.
I
Do
can
you
be
have
there. It's
food?
the first
You
day of
wanna
school.
It's the
I might
first
be
day of
half
school.
asleep, but
I don't think,
I'll
all
be at the school anyway, so it was coming on if you want.
All right.
I'll just put it
Okay.
in my calendar anyway.
All right, that sounds good, Jen, thanks. Okay, so the accounts payable and manifest, Sharon Jordan has already signed off on all of those?
Yes.
Were there any did she sign off on transfers, Lori, for those?
There were some, well, I didn't bring those with me, but she did sign off on several. Again, $300 and $400, not anywhere near lengthy as what you've seen in the past.
Okay, and was there, what about vocational education or something? She did mention something to me about the management.
That would probably be on this one right here. This would be going in 13, 14. It did not have to do with the next,
Oh, okay,
right.
so do we have manifest to sign tonight? Because there's none on our
Usually-
desks.
Oh, okay.
They're probably on the
Um,
account meeting on this desk.
Usually Yvonne leaves those, so I can go and check
Okay.
and we'll do that. now.
Well, we'll need to sign them before the night's
Right,
over, that's all.
okay, just not,
Usually-
we'll keep
yeah.
the process
Yeah.
going.
Okay. Budget transfers, page 107 to 111.
These are transfers for 13, 14 year.
Mhm.
This is probably the one right here, the number 2 that Sharon was referring to.
Okay,
And that's what we're trying to do is to properly track any of those expenditures to charter school and
Mhm.
technical academies.
mhm,
And so we moved it from regular tuition over to this particular line.
okay. Okay, so
And this doesn't balance, oh my goodness, this is embarrassing.
it doesn't,
I'll do
No.
612.
Oh my goodness.
it's $400 off.
Yeah, so $399 off.
Actually, it's 401,
401.
actually, 399 off, right?
Yeah.
No, it's, that flip balances is 626. The 227 and the 399 balance to the 626, the 855. I think the total is just wrong.
Yeah, that's what it's.
It looks like everything else balances to each
Right,
other.
everything balances, I just did not capture the $399 in this cell.
Oh,
Alright.
So
okay.
the total amount of this transfer, at least debits,
It's 3612.
361230.
Correct. So, do I have a motion to approve these transfers?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, declaration of media specialist shortage for SAU83.
Point of order.
Oh,
You had
I'm
mentioned
sorry.
that you wanted to move Title I to immediately after public input. And we have.
Oh, I actually moved it to R.
Okay, that's fine. You had mentioned it after public input, so I had drawn an arrow.
I've got it on R because I went to
You're thinking
Q and I had to write it on the side.
Up to you.
We'll do it at R, just
Okay.
because that's how I have it on
That's
my
fine.
list here. But thank you, just in case I would have forgotten.
No problem.
Okay, declaration of media specialist for SAU83.
Okay. Have you had a chance to read the explanation?
I did.
Okay.
Did you all?
Everybody's nodding. So in essence, to hire the candidate that has gone through the process and we would like to recommend, it is required that the board declare a local shortage and let it be recorded in the minutes. And then I can send the minutes up and she can get her letter of eligibility. So are there any questions?
Would this be the time to ask questions around if her contract or their contracts would be linked to the teacher's contract and all?
At this point, that's a good question, because, and you're right, it's a good time to talk about it, either this way or next, I mean, because they sort of come together. After having seen this process happen in another district in a very negative way, it's my feeling that the contracts should be issued based as they have always been for the year. And then the negotiation process should take care of the concern about the recognition
Oh,
cost.
so essentially the same contract, okay.
Yeah, no differences, nothing will change. It's a logistical problem.
Knowing that the,
It's basically a housekeeping, clean it up and
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
sure that it's done the right way in the future. So I would need a motion to declare a local critical shortage for a certified media specialist.
I'll make a motion to declare the shortage for the media specialist.
Any other discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So it's unanimous. And then it looks like we need to nominate the media specialist.
Yes, we would like to bring forward Linda Johnson as the nominee for the position of media specialist at Ellis School. We will be offering a contract based upon the teacher's contract for Master Step 5 for $38,471. And this would be contingent upon her receiving a letter of eligibility from the department. And I would probably move the date at this point to 9/30/13 because she's not going to get it that fast. And if it doesn't come in by then, we'll check and make sure. Sometimes the department can be a little tricky. We do know that with the critical shortage and with her conversations that she will receive it. We have been told that. And it's on that I'm basing it. So I would say 9/30/13.
Okay, so will she be in place right away? We vote this in tonight?
Yes, she will be in place.
Okay.
We will hire her in anticipation of the letter.
Okay, great. So I need a motion to recommend, or I guess to nominate, to
elect.
approve the nomination of,
To elect.
to elect Linda Johnson to the media specialist position.
I'll make a motion to elect Linda Johnson, sorry, got any? Yeah, Linda Johnson, community specialist.
Second?
Any discussion or questions?
Does it make a difference, so she teaches some classes to the kids, does any of that change? She's still going to do that?
She's linking with the former librarian to get the full curriculum so that things will continue as they have been. And she will be required to put within 60 days, she has to put together an alternative plan. And she's going to use the former librarian as a mentor if she accepts. She has to have a mentor. And that plan will lead to certification within 2 years.
Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous. Okay. Resignation of business administrator.
Skip this one.
Okay, so Lori has tendered her resignation, and we need to make a motion to accept with regret Lori's resignation.
Make motion to accept with regret.
A second.
I'm sorry to see you go, Lori. Any other comments or questions or discussion?
I'll miss you.
I'll miss everyone here too.
Is it okay if I explain that you're to the public?
Yes, yes.
Lori
It's
was
fine.
offered a position 15 minutes from her house with a significant change in pay, and it makes no sense for her to not accept that. So we are in the process of looking for a replacement, and she's going to help us do that, right, Lori?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Thank you.
And we know her cell phone number.
Right.
We do, we know.
And I know where she spends her weekends.
And we wish her,
Do we have a personal email address too?
We know, not going that far. If I really get in shape though, I could ride my bicycle.
okay, so we have to take a vote on that.
Aye.
Aye. Stipend position nominations for the 13-14 school year. We have a list here. They all look, some are coming back and some are new. And I just need a motion to accept the list as recommended.
I'll make a motion to accept the list as recommended.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resignation of guidance counselor. We received a letter from Ms. Janest stating that she was resigning from the position. She gave a lot of background as to why she's moving on. And we will need to accept her resignation with regret.
Motion to accept resignation as with regret.
Second?
Any discussion or questions?
Well, the letter that she sent us, is that part of the public meeting minutes?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it's part of the public
That's fine.
record.
She doesn't say anything in here that it cannot be released into the public forum.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Recommendation, reduction of the guidance counselor position to .75.
I move to accept that recommendation.
I'll second it. I have any questions.
Okay, discussion, go ahead, Greg.
So is the reduction because you truly think we don't need it, is it partly financial?
We've talked about it in previous years. So it wasn't just this year that we decided that we needed to save money. So we had talked about how we could handle it in the past.
It's a good time to do it. If you think that it would be reduced going forward in the budget this year, if there's a likelihood that it might, rather than bring someone in as a full-time
Then check,
and then
yeah.
reduce them. You can always increase, but it would be very difficult to go backward. So that's one of the reasons why this, at this time, may be advisable.
How much was change in savings of salaries does that mean? Was it there and I just forgot it?
You've got it,
Oh, it was, yeah.
It also depends on the person.
Yeah, it also depends what we hire them,
yes.
Yeah.
what step they
But
come
they
in at.
give you a general idea.
Whether they take insurance,
So
health
John,
insurance.
what do you perceive that position to be, like nine in the morning till 2 in the afternoon or 3 in the afternoon? I mean,
Four
if it's
days a week.
Yeah, 3 to
.75,
4 days a week, you know, I mean,
Oh, okay.
and I think it averages out to 3.6 something, you know, per, you know, so we're dependent on the weeks, and we do 3 to 4 days a week.
oh,
It'd be
and
day.
full days.
How many hours a week would that be?
Good
0.75.
math. Yeah,
It was 6.75 hours a day,
yeah, so,
right?
but there was,
0.75, what's 0.75 times 6.75?
It's 7.25, I think.
7.2 by
Yeah.
7.25?
so it's 3 days a week, say 21 to 25 hours, 25.
25
Four
hours
days
a
a
week?
week.
Yeah, around 22 hours.
It'd be 22 hours a week?
Something.
And they're not part of, that position is not part of the contract?
No.
We don't have to offer them health insurance?
You're going to have to anyway in another year. But
It's less than 30 hours a week.
by law, you can do whatever you want. But
Right.
I would suggest for the goodwill of your negotiation
Right.
process this year that you not make any changes without discussing it.
Right, and there's also gonna be, we were just at a seminar today where there's discrimination laws coming out too, where even though there's a 30-hour clause, you also have to be careful about not breaking any discrimination rules. They mentioned that they don't even have those defined yet, but
But you certainly are free, Andy, you are free to do as you wish. And that's, but like I said, for the goodwill of your relationship with your union, I would advise against it.
Well, if this person was included, this position was included, now, what does the contract say? Who gets insurance under the contract? Don't you have to be a,
well, the
Oh, it's over
0.75,
0.5,
right, so
so they get a prorated
prorated.
amount.
a prorated amount? So if they were to be included, if their position would be included in the contract, then we'd have to offer insurance.
That's right.
But until that time, we don't have to.
It's your decision as a board.
I think I would go with the recommendation of Betsy and leave it alone this year because this is something we found as almost an oversight, if you will, I think, more than anything. And it will be definitely covered in negotiations with the language of the contract when we get into negotiations.
I would agree with that.
And other districts are running into the same problem. This is not something that's just us.
And we would have a very difficult time hiring someone, I think, if not, we don't offer benefits. Most schools do, even if it's half-time, they, you know, for professional staff, they would give them half the benefits.
Right, like a prorated, yeah.
Well, they'd have to go to the, well, if they want benefits, they have to go to the exchange, right? Wouldn't have to go to the exchange?
We were talking about this.
We're sending you to
We're
a
talking
seminar on
about this.
Obamacare, because it is, you can't imagine until you've sat through it.
Right.
Someone is going to make a lot of money writing a program to handle this stuff.
I don't think you can.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that be the thing, they would go to the exchange?
I don't know what they would do based on what I learned today. I would have
Alright.
to look at their household income, I would have to know what 9.5% of that was.
All right,
You know, it's,
all right. Well, we can't, oh, yeah. Right. I don't think we can ask what their household income is.
no, we really
We
can't.
No, what
can't.
happens is, you don't even wanna know.
We can't even ask them if their spouse, if they're married, if their spouse has health insurance.
We can require that they prove that they are
Yes.
insured,
All right,
Mhm.
which is good practice anyway,
all right.
if you are gonna pay someone not to, who's not taking insurance.
Okay, so we're at the point now where we are basically recommending the reduction of the guidance counselor to 0.75, and we've got it. Motion and second, and does anybody else have any other questions on that?
No, just that I don't think we should offer health insurance. We're not required to, but I think we should offer, and if they get included in the contract. then
Okay,
they
let's,
get health insurance then.
can we, let's vote on the motion to reduce it to 0.75,
Alright.
and then you can make another motion if you so
I will,
choose.
I will.
Okay. So all those in favor of reducing?
Aye.
You thinking together? Aye. Okay.
Then I make a motion that we,
Can I ask you something, Andy?
yeah,
We're gonna have a non-meeting tonight
all right.
about bargaining. How about if we talk about this
Sure.
at the non-meeting?
Well, no.
You can't
this
take
is-
action if you're doing.
No,
it
this
on-
is,
I
this
said
is,
talk about it.
this is a
We can always
specific,
take it.
but this is a specific situation, it's nothing to do with the
Yeah,
contract.
he wants, I think he wants to make a motion.
I want to make a motion that we don't offer this person health insurance, you know, unless their contract situation changes. There was changes in the law with the Affordable Care Act. Because they can get insurance on the exchange. If they need.
Do I have a second? There's no second. Motion dies. Okay. Ellis School 2013-2014 student handbook approval.
I spoke to Ida a little bit about this. I had sent the handbook, after John had sent it to me, I sent it to attorney for review to make sure that we covered ourselves in everything that's supposed to be done, having done a variety of contracts. He has a number of suggestions. John and I need to sit down together to go through that. That being said, we need a handbook in place for the beginning of the school year. So I'm recommending to the board that you go through your process of looking at this, talking about it, make your recommendations. He puts forward the handbook that he has, and then we will sit down and bring back the changes to the board.
All right, so we send our recommendations directly to,
You can talk about them here.
all right, all right.
John, there was two Title I positions to be discussed. Is that because you're gonna do reading and math for Title I?
I mean,
In
in the staff
direct-
list?
Yeah.
I just took the names out. We're not sure if we're gonna do one or two. Previously, it was Melissa Ohms as the director, and she had Carrie Parento working with her half-time. So it depends on the grant.
Okay.
You know, we're asking is that we put the coordinator position back.
Mhm.
And if the grant allows to have enough to pay for a para, then we would have a half-time para working with Mama. She's already there. For example, Carrie Parento was the person who did it before. She's paid for right now, and special ed, she will be there. If we can free her up to work with Title I, also needs, for part of the day, then and pay part of her salary, then we would have another person.
Okay. Did anybody have any recommendations for changes to the student handbook other than the changes that John had made?
I had a question about one of the changes. The middle school must wear the ID badge. Do we give them a lanyard or something?
They came in the mail yesterday.
Can't
We're
they-
changing that because of with the new security. We had it before, then we didn't do it, but now that we have the new security system in place, I think it's important that we go back to
Oh,
them.
I know, I like it. What happens if they lose it though? Do we have extra? Do we have to charge
The
them?
lanyards?
Yeah.
Well,
what
we
if
have
the
ton of
kid-
lanyards.
Okay.
We have some that were even misspelled by a company that gave it to us. So we can give them one. So if they're bad, they get the misspelled ones.
All right, now, where's the dress code in this?
They didn't change from last year to this year, that's why it's probably not
Page
red.
24, 30, what we're looking at.
I-
Dressing.
24 to,
25 starts with dressing for school.
all right. And, because I still have issues with allowing to wear shorts. I don't think it's preparing them for anything in the future, and flip-flops, even in the spring. I don't think that's appropriate. I don't think it's preparing kids for anything whatsoever, except for maybe summer camp. And I just think it's appropriate. I think it's just setting a bad example for kids. You know, so I didn't like that last time we reviewed it, and I don't like it this time. I think kids should wear long pants at all times, and, you know, the girls should wear, you know, appropriate skirts or dresses or pants.
School's not air conditioned, is it?
Some
No,
part,
it's
just some parts
Some
of it,
parts.
not many parts of it.
Is there a time that kids are not allowed to wear them after and before?
Yeah.
I know, I hear a lot of complaints from my kids that they're hot during that day. They'd be far from impressed.
Actually, we didn't, what we've done, it used to be that it was barred, that you could not wear shorts after November 1st, but basically if the students are not prepared to go outside after November 1st, that means they're wearing shorts, they don't go outside. So that's how we kind of put that in place.
I just think it should wear long pants and shoes.
What I would recommend is I can talk about this in my parent forums, and bring it to the PTA. I wouldn't be comfortable making this change right now and then, without getting input from the parents.
Right.
Wait for a majority of the vote.
Yeah, we gotta vote.
Yeah, I mean, it's just-
the board may not agree with
Don't
it.
volunteer to do
Okay.
the work.
I mean, it comes,
The board may not agree with
The board
me.
may not agree with
The
it.
board did not agree with me last year, so they may not agree with me again this year. But that is my opinion. I think we're preparing kids
I
for
agree
life.
with them last year. I was going to Catholic school. Oh, no, I-
We will allow our teachers to wear shorts and flip-flops, so.
There is research data showing that you behave the way you dress.
Yeah,
It is conclusive, so it depends upon what you want in your building.
Yeah, I agree, there is, unless if people disagree with me when I brought that up, that there is a correlation. between
There is a
dress
correlation.
You want
Using that
happy
time.
kids,
Yes.
happy and comfortable kids.
It depends upon what you want for your school. As a board, you have to decide.
Is there any data?
There is,
We have-
I'm serious.
I traveled in Europe.
Yeah.
I traveled in Europe in 1977, ended up in Rome in a hospital with a woman who was doing her dissertation entitled The Behavioral Art of Clothing. And she was gathering data on how people behaved as they dressed differently. And there's absolutely a correlation. You send kids to school in tuxes, they're gonna behave like they're wearing a tux. You send a girl in a gown, she's gonna behave like she's wearing a gown. If you send a girl or a boy in summer clothes, they're gonna behave like they're in summer clothes. We do the same thing. So, it depends upon what you want your building to be like. But there's also a great deal of peer pressure the kids have to deal with. And that's another thing that has to be considered. And what people can actually buy in the store when they go shopping for their children.
Yeah, as a board member, I don't think we should dictate to the parents what their kids should wear as long as they're following the guidelines that are here. I've seen shorts even in parochial schools, as long as they're appropriate shorts. And in very expensive private schools, they wear shorts with a nice shirt and tie.
But it's a uniform though.
No, no. So I don't see any problem with shorts at all. And as far as flip-flops go, I just worry about the safety of flip-flops, that's all. Kids can wipe out in those, just like adults can. I don't know how many people.
I did that this weekend, so yeah.
So I might say flip-flops are a danger more than a, like a safety issue. And maybe a little too casual, I suppose. But I don't have any problem with shorts.
I have no problem with shorts.
I don't either. I think it's warm in there.
Okay, so it sounds like the board's consensus is the shorts are probably okay, but the flip-flops, what do you guys think?
No.
What do parents think about flip-flops?
I just know that when I go in there to volunteer, I am gonna blow up by the time I get out of the building. It is so hot. That is just like another discussion for when the town has some money, is air conditioning in all those some of those classrooms are just, I don't know how you guys do it, I honest to
I
God.
have 2 banks of windows. I very consistently hit 90 in that room when it's hot outside.
Well, we need to talk to Scott about that.
I
There's
don't know how the kids do
There's no
it.
air conditioning in my room available, so
What about the flip-flops, 2 teachers that are here?
As far as elementary goes, as far as, well, kindergarten for me, obviously, but we don't allow, I think if they're gonna wear flip-flops, that's great. But as far as the equipment outside, we don't let them on the equipment with flip-flops. They're only allowed to play on the wood chips, and we send home multiple notices, because the kids get upset, and of course, but, just, we send notes home, the parents can send in sneakers, and the kids switch sneakers to go outside, and then come inside and put flip-flops on, so.
It's not that they can't wear sandals, it's just the
Yeah.
flip-flops,
Mhm.
correct? Because someone can step on the
Yeah.
back for those, or?
Yeah, the same.
I
Step on
don't
their
let my
toes.
kids wear
Stub
sandals,
their toes.
because I prefer something closed toe, just
Yeah.
from, like, when they're running around on the playground.
I don't think the
They're
playground
playing, I just-
staff lets them at all, any of them.
Yeah,
I don't think so. I wasn't sure
they're
about
not
that.
allowed to. I mean,
No.
as far as in the building, nobody's running, so I don't see an issue with that. I know when we go on our DC trip, we don't allow them because we're moving at a quicker pace. It's a different environment. In the school, as far as the safety, walking down the hallway, 12 years, I've never seen somebody wipe out because of flip-flops in the building, walking down the hall. I mean, it is different climbing on the Space Net or if you're really hoofing it around DC. So there is a difference.
And the reason
Safety.
we put this in for the November to May, not only because you're wearing the flip-flops and safety, but if, kids can change for recess, but if we had a fire drill, in January and they're wearing flip-flops, they're not gonna have time to change, they have to get out of the building, so it's more of a, that's a big safety issue.
See, my thinking is education is a serious business, and I think you're letting kids wear flip-flops to school, you're sending them the wrong message. That's exactly, this isn't summer camp, it's a school where kids are supposed to be learning. That's, I
We
think.
agree a lot on that, and I went through Catholic, like I said, I went through
Yeah.
Catholic school myself, and I taught in Catholic school.
Right.
So,
Okay, so no
I would,
flip-flops.
well, not just that,
You'd have to come back on
I would
sandals,
like to
too.
bring
Be a
this
fine line there.
to the parents. I really would
Yeah.
like to bring this to the
Alright.
parents.
That's a
I'm
good
willing to
choice.
let you do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I think we took out didn't we said no flip-flops completely?
I think you did
I
for a
think-
while.
yeah, we
I
did,
remember
and we-
that, a couple of
we got
years,
some-
maybe 3
I
years.
got some pushback from
We
parents.
had a lot of pushback. I mean, we had
Yeah.
parents send them in and say, fight me on it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a
maybe
good
it's
idea,
a
that to
matter
be
of
true.
presenting an argument. Do you have any data on kids whose feet have been injured, toes have been
Mhm.
hurt? Or, if not, then why not? But if there is data from the nurse, that can be useful. For safety issues, you could get a statement from Greg Champlin
Mm-hmm,
easily,
yeah.
stating that, kids should not be evacuating in flip-flops. A few things like that, put it together into a statement.
Yes.
and Bring it to your PTA.
Talk to a podiatrist too. Is it good for their feet to be in flip-flops 6 hours a day? There's no arch supports, there's nothing in these things.
It's a good point. Do we have any podiatrists in the neighborhood?
You can-
Okay, anything else in the handbook? Okay, so do I have a motion to approve, fireman discussion, well, we're gonna approve it and we can amend the flip-flop, when we do
Right.
the amendments that we're gonna be putting through anyway,
Right.
based on what the attorney suggests.
Motion to approve the handbook?
Second?
Any other discussion on it? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, nomination of Steve Farnham. I think that was the next one.
Moving on to the additions.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Martha Abney got hired as a teacher.
Yay.
Someone has to fill the void she left behind, which I understand will be very difficult. But Mr. Farnham has been recommended to do that, and so I would like to recommend that he be, I'm nominating him for the position of paraprofessional. He has been substituting in the district for several years, and his particular background in math. The information on the top sheet has the monetary.
Yeah. With that.
And have any questions?
I have a motion to nominate Stephen Farnham for, to accept the nomination of Stephen Farnham for paraprofessional.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Disposition of old social studies books. Looks like you brought us something to see, huh?
One's gonna throw away, right?
Yes, we're gonna throw them away. Most of them are from 1997, I made a mistake on the, I put that was 2009. The civics in practice are from 2003. We have some newer ones that we had reordered it when Jim was short on some. We had some that reprint for 2009, but they're really falling apart. We can't sell them or anything, and some of them are somewhat falling apart, but I'm not gonna read what some of the things say. So we needed to get rid of some. So we would like to get rid of all the America's Story one because there's more to the story since 1997, and Our World Story from 1997. We want to get rid of all of those. We want to get rid of about 15 of these, keep them for a resource, and then also ask permission to, as they fall apart or get written, and if we find things in them, we'd like to throw them away and just start eliminating them. Because I can't sell them, we can't sell
I
them.
think it's a great idea. I mean, like I said, it all comes back to the image of the school and how much we care about the students and the materials, and what kind of atmosphere we want to present, and having things like that around, I don't think it speaks well for us.
Do we actually need to motion this, or can we
It's a
just-
capital, I mean, it depends on the will of the board. I mean, I've been in districts where the principal does it on his own. I've been in districts where the superintendent makes the decision, and I've been in districts where the board makes the decision.
Okay.
So you decide, what level do you want this taken care of at?
It's okay with me if you throw them away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want official motion?
If it's gonna be a decision of the board, there needs to be a motion and action
Okay.
taken by the
Motion,
board.
let John do what he wants with the book.
That's dangerous.
Oh, the power!
We're gonna see a bonfire on the back.
I'm not speaking out at the next staff meeting.
The Fahrenheit 451 comes up, free lot.
Do I have a second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Bus routes. Obviously, you guys haven't had a lot of time to look at bus routes.
No.
And they're gonna start pretty soon.
Yes.
There were very minor changes, right, from last year?
Yeah, the only changes were, let's see, she didn't give me the itemized changes. She did give me the two proposed and the current and proposed, which you have in your packet, those 2 pages. In bus 3 for the high school, there's a decision that needs to be made regarding one route or another. I sent an email off to both John and Michelle this afternoon. The RFP calls for the routes to be laid out by July 9th. Clearly that didn't happen. And there are some steps that need to be corrected in the process because this should not be coming to you this late. This should be done in July. So I can only apologize for that. But the only thing that you really need to look at is the bus 3 because that's the change.
Right. and that was
Yeah, let's see.
Sunny Lane.
Yeah, and Yvonne did not have a chance to number the pages on this, but it's this close to the back. The last 5 pages or so.
Yeah.
It's all in the very back, and Yvonne put some maps together for you.
Right.
Yeah, and we stapled them together as a separate unit.
Right, so,
The other thing that happened just before the meeting was, I don't think Yvonne ever stops thinking about her job. She got home and realized that she wasn't sure whether or not the students coming out of the charter school in town, the grade 8 students, were included in this, so she called Michelle, and apparently they weren't.
Oh,
So that is another glitch in the system that has to be fixed. So these may need to be some adjustments made, but we'll see. We're gonna get them to her tomorrow, call the charter school, get them right out, and see if there's any issues. Hopefully there won't be.
I don't have any problem with this.
okay, so the only thing that I think we should ask Michelle to do is include Sunny Lane on the new route, just like we did last year. Remember last year we had a request from, 2 years ago, we had a request from a parent that instead of the bus going down Riverside and turning left at like Beach Street or something, they wanted it to go all the way to Sunny Lane and turn left because there was a high school student that lived way down at the end of Riverside. And we did make that accommodation that year, and they've taken it out, and I would like to recommend we put it back.
Is that student still
Yep,
going to high school?
yep.
I'm fine with that suggestion.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, and then I think the other one, from what I could tell, just of looking at it real quick, is that all they did is, I think they just changed the direction of the loop at Lynette Lane, no, Carlin and Tuck. Like, instead of going in on the first entrance and going around, they're going in on the second entrance and coming out the other entrance. But they're stopping, it looks like they're stopping all the same places.
Yeah, there's 2 maps attached that Yvonne put in to draw out for you the changes. One is current route and one is proposed. For each one, she has maps, so you can take a look at the maps. What,
So the kids on Tuck Drive will have to walk to
I
the
don't
end?
think so. I think it's the same.
There's, right here,
Stop it.
that loop
God.
down.
is that the current, and up at the top it says current versus
Proposed.
proposed?
I'm looking at proposed, I'm just comparing overlaying the two.
That's my neighborhood.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I could tell you.
Yeah, come on over.
Could I look?
Yes, seriously.
You do.
You sure you
Because
want
we
me
were
to?
trying to, yeah, I am, I'm sure.
Should I
Sure.
look at yours or look at?
You can look at your, it's fine. That's the current,
Oh, this is the high school.
yes, this is the high school bus.
Oh, I'm thinking middle school. So it would come in off of Carlin and just go through and go 125 to the high school.
Well, the current way she has it set up was come in this way, go all the way around here, back out to the road, back here, back through the loop, and then out this way.
I don't think there's any kids that live right here, so I think it can go,
Well, this is the other one she
This way.
proposed, was to come, pick up these kids up here, and then go straight here, and then down
Skipping
and
that
out.
right over, so it could have walked to there.
That was her proposal.
And then that's right here.
is it going, so it's not,
It wouldn't be going in.
no, it's gotta go.
Yeah, it doesn't
There's
go
a
in,
high-
it doesn't go in here, so she was, I think part of her thinking was, all those kids have to walk, so why
We're
don't
skipping
these
this,
kids
we could have to walk
pick
there
up?
and then here.
And then she can make it faster to the high school.
If there's any kids there, I don't know.
And I don't know, 'cause I don't.
This is your neighborhood too, Ida, right? It's talking about over on the other side, it's not going in your neighborhood either?
So, if I look
Never
at,
does. The high school bus doesn't. The high school bus just goes to the gazebo.
Oh, okay, because
Yeah,
this would just go through to pick up, I mean, this would go through our neighborhood because you can come out on the other side onto 125 in Brentwood, but
it just takes out this loop.
but
is what
it looks like
does.
it's taking out 2 loops though.
Well, the loops, what happens is, she goes in, you follow the outside of the green lines and goes back out to what's that?
Oh, I see.
North Road, and then goes back to the entry point again, and goes back down the same road.
So she's doing that one road twice.
She's doing a loop around.
I think just coming in, going around and going what they used to do, and not doing this part of it.
Okay, the reason that I think she wanted to do this is because there are people coming down from here, so she has to go there. She has to pick up on this corner.
There's no high school kids on Martin Road, is there?
High school, yeah.
Martin
Dan
Road.
Costello's down there, and,
Oh, yeah.
right, unless,
Yeah, that was why she
Dan's a
had to
senior.
go there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And there's another guy too.
yeah, so that's why she had to go up there, so.
If you don't go in there at all, I know you'll get phone calls,
Do we-
but.
Well,
You know what I
mean the
mean?
Tuck Godfrey loop?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean, yeah?
Yeah,
There's kids at Little Mary, imagine.
oh, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, there's a whole bunch of kids in there.
If you look at the proposed map, you'll see the distance that people in Ida's neighborhood, the students in Ida's neighborhood have to walk to get the bus.
I
And
don't
it's
know which
the,
one Ida's neighborhood is though.
It's the dotted line.
the dotted line.
Oh,
The bus does not go up there.
I mean, that's fair, but I didn't, they've already established going into Tuck Woods and
She-
out.
And
She's
it's
trying to save as
tough
much
with
time as she
suspicion.
can to get the kids. She's afraid she's not gonna make it to the high school on time, that's part of her problem. So,
It is bigger up in Tuck than in my neighborhood. Like, we have two small circles and they.
I don't know, you know, I don't,
Oh,
I've
that's
been here
big.
long enough.
It's
to
big
know
and it's
these things,
hilly
so
and
That's
it's,
a big development down there.
That's why I'm letting you guys make the decision.
Yeah.
And I'll just say when they call me, talk to the board.
But you could have them, you could have them come to the ends, you could have the Tuck and the Godfrey kids come down off the, up from, we call it Shangri-La up there on the cul-de-sac. You could have them come down to Tuck and just go in and go out through Commercial and Brentwood and out onto 125.
right. Have the kids walk to the corner, you mean? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, walk down to the stop sign. I mean, if they're not going through your neighborhood,
Right.
but that's just an opinion from.
But it looks like near the picture they're going through up in Sleepy
Sleeper
Drive.
circle. Yeah, they never come into our neighborhood.
Yeah,
They just
just
pull up to they pull up to
Yeah.
the gazebo and whoever's
Neither
there goes.
choice is going up.
The high
Oh, I know
school
what
kids.
that is.
The question is down
Okay.
below.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then there's simply one on the other, bus 7, there's simply one stop that would be, let's see, stopping Riverside Drive.
That's the one.
Yeah, and then she's got the, instead of going down the square, she would make the 2 stops at the head of the, and make the students walk up out of that to 107. at both
How far
ends.
is the walk?
Certainly within half a mile, I believe.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
So that's the second one, so, well, those are the
Sure,
2
let's
choices
just
that
do
you
that.
made.
All right.
For high school kids? I imagine it's high school. Is it high school?
This is the high school
Okay.
bus. This is the high school bus, and I'll be elementary in a minute. It's the high school bus.
Okay.
And the purpose of this is to money savings or gap?
Time primarily, for the big loop, the double loop, is to make sure, she's not sure she can get them to the school on time, with that. But, the other one is also time. They're both really time.
So could they eliminate the double loop and just do that once but still go down Tuck Drive?
She has to come back up to the road to get students to come off of Martin. And she can't turn the bus around there. That's why she has to go around the loop. Yeah, she can't back up and turn the bus around.
Brentwood turns the bus around on that road.
I can't talk to that.
I just see it when I'm out walking. Brentwood comes up and backs into Martin Road and goes back down
Oh,
on
really?
Martin Road Farm. I
Yeah.
see it every day when I'm out walking. I see you on your way to work. Yeah.
Watch it, she's watching.
I see her walking.
But they didn't want, that wouldn't be going up Martin, that would be turning around on End Road?
North Road, yep, they,
North
she
Road.
goes on North
She
Road,
would-
backs into Martin Road, and then goes the other way back on North Road.
It's kind of,
Could,
that's
can
a
you change?
narrow road, that's kind of risky.
Yeah.
And that's probably why she doesn't wanna do it.
Yeah, that's pretty,
is there such thing as trying the bus route the way it is currently and can't get there in time and change it mid-year, or?
I think parents need to know so they can set their schedules and students can set their schedules, so I think the decision needs to be made. I mean, if it turns
Okay.
out to be a problem, it's one thing, but try to make the decision you're gonna make.
Okay, I think what we should propose on Carlin is, if I can get this right, Carlin Drive.
We don't know the ages of those kids, they mostly
They're high school.
upper high school, lower high school?
Well, if you were in upper high school and had access to a car, what would you do?
Drive.
Oh, take the bus.
I guess I think what Jody's saying is we should probably keep the Tuck Godfrey loop in this drive. So what we could do is have them come along, go into Carlin, like they're going to do. Come down North Road, right into Carlin, on the second right. How does Round Robin loop then get on the
Round
west
Robin
side?
is,
They go walk up to, they walk.
Oh, they're gonna be at the end of Carlin now?
They'll be at the end of Carlin, yeah.
Okay, that's not too far for them. All right, so then down, and then I would say take a, keep going past Tuck, go to Godfrey, go up Godfrey and around through Tuck, and then proceed to 125.
So I don't know the roads well enough to kind of follow this on this map.
Yep.
What are you suggesting to change on the green? Or are you not
I'm saying, what it would say is right onto Carlin, just like it says,
Yeah,
okay? And then stop at Ingalls, okay?
you're missing the Martin Road kids when you, if you go
You
right into
have to go
Tuck
back to
Woods.
North Road.
That's what
that
the
corner.
problem is now.
Yeah, that's why, when she talked to me about it, you have to go back, you have to get that corner, Carlin and North Road.
Yeah, there's two Carlins, you guys.
Second Carlin, you have to stop at the
Right,
second.
that's
Carlin.
okay.
Okay.
So you go down North Road, you get to the second Carlin, you stop at Martin Road,
Mm-hmm,
you get to the second Carlin, you go in,
mm-hmm.
That's really.
and
That's
then,
what she's doing already here.
right, you keep, that's perfect. And then you keep going, and when you get to the corner of Tuck Drive,
Yeah.
you keep going, and when you get to the corner of Godfrey,
Right.
you just take a right on Godfrey, loop around Tuck Drive, and come right back out again and go,
Why?
Why would you do that?
Why?
because that's a huge loop, and that's a long way for the kids to be walking.
Is
Is
it?
that what you're saying,
so
Jody?
this is the.
But you're coming in the second Carlin.
Right.
You've missed the kids that are on the first side of Carlin that are the Round Robin kids.
Okay,
Carlin's a horseshoe.
Right.
So if you come in the second side to get the Martin Road, you've missed the kids over here on the first side of the horseshoe that are on that side of Carlin or that live in the little
Yeah, they have to
Round
walk all the
Robin.
way up to.
This is high school?
This is high school.
I don't know why they can't walk for crying out loud, really. I mean, I walked a half an hour to school when I was in
So
when I
some
was in
people
high
walk
school.
uphill both ways.
Yeah, that's right, so why can't kids do it now? I have no
Start
problem.
running between the dinosaurs' legs?
Yeah, well,
With
they
no
passed
shoes,
away,
of
it was me
course.
and the mammals.
In the snow.
How busy,
No, but
how busy
I
are we?
have no.
I don't
okay,
know.
okay.
It's ridiculous, let the kids walk for crying out loud, it's not gonna kill them.
All right, you need a motion anyway.
I make a motion to accept the high school route. Which route is
The
that?
proposed route
Proposed route
for bus 3.
for bus 3.
So this is.
Okay, there's a motion
I
on the
live up
floor.
here.
Do I have
I'm sorry, I'm looking at the map and Google's makes you a better picture. So they're going down here. She goes up, loops again, down here.
I start a 2-week vacation starting tomorrow, by the way, when these are posted.
Forward calls.
Okay, open Google Map, please.
I think I need to spin, I'm trying to. So that's the loop right there.
It's extra time to run the loop, I think the kids are perfectly capable of walking, I mean, really.
It will get them to school earlier, which they should appreciate, if they had difficulty running. finding a bus and getting to school on time. That's her concern.
So you have a motion on the floor to accept bus Route 3. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Nay.
All right. And then bus, what number is the other bus with the Sunny Lane on it?
That's 7, bus 7.
Okay, I'm gonna make, I'd like to entertain a motion to change bus Route 7 to go down to Sunny Lane instead of the road it turns on now. It's only one block, and it's not even a big block, it's a house length away, but it makes the parent feel better that it's just a,
So where does it turn now, on Beach?
no,
Turn back, yeah, Beach Street. Yeah, takes a left on Beach Street, or right on Beach Street.
Yeah.
whichever way it comes.
Is that near River?
Yeah.
So I make a motion, and then I'll second that.
okay.
Oh, there's
All those in favor?
something down there.
Aye.
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 Okay, so you're keeping the U,
Yep,
and
It's
you're
going to
going,
Sunny Lane
going
instead.
one block further, basically.
Yeah.
One road
It's
further,
Yeah.
only like 20 feet.
as Sunny Lane,
yeah,
as Cross Street.
yeah, and they all go through, that whole neighborhood, they all cut through.
So
Okay.
this right here is that.
All those in favor? Did we already do this?
I thought we did, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Did we already do that, Sue? Did we already vote on that? Okay, so that passed. Building reports? I don't think there's an action item on that, right?
No, I don't actually think it
Oh, I think it's because it came in here that we added it. And I think we already talked about it.
Yeah,
Resignation of Josh Cooley.
yes, you should have the resignation of Josh Cooley,
Yeah,
and my
we got
many congratulations to him apparently.
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Very exciting news. So we need to, if you want to accept that or not.
I'm looking for it. Is that was already in our packet?
That was,
correct?
that arrived
Today.
today, so it's in the second packet. It should have been right after the bus routes,
Okay.
so in the pile.
do we know where he's going?
Do you know where he's going?
Somewhere near Keene.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe he's gonna move.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is he gonna move? Leaving the home
Okay, so
nest.
you would accept his resignation with regret.
I'll make that motion.
So moved.
We wish him well. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I think it's great that we have teaching. Okay. Paraprofessional nomination.
Okay, well, we have to replace the person who you just accepted the resignation of. We are efficient around here. We'd like to nominate Tammy Bond. Ms. Bond has been a substitute in the district for a year and is pursuing teacher certification in special education. She comes to this position in a very roundabout way, through a variety of different kinds of backgrounds, but as she told me, she said her passion that she's come to follow is attending special education kids. She really, really likes doing that. And so she's going to be pursuing her certification while she's working, hopefully, and so we'd like to nominate her. Yeah.
I'll make a motion to nominate Tammy Bond.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Title 1A, Services and Personnel. So if you go back to page 96 of the packet, this is what we're talking about here. Well, 96 describes the actual.
The written page or the PDF page?
The PDF, I'm sorry, 94, and is where it starts.
Yeah.
Yep.
So basically, we need to basically reinstate the Title I, or,
You are, It's not so much reinstatement. I mean, it's a Title I position, but it is a different job description than the covers now. So you are recovering a position with a different orientation. And I'm not sure there's a good way to word it. You could say reinstate, you could say new Title I position.
Well, if they're not doing the same thing,
Yeah.
it's a new Title I position.
So we're basically approving
Well,
the
no, he didn't-
recommendation what you're asking us to do is approve the recommendation that you're making to fund the Title I-A teacher position.
And that would go to
Melissa Owens, should be recalled,
the office, or she.
yes.
So that's the motion we would need is to.
This is one position that makes a real difference to kids, and that's why we support it. Particularly with math scores being low. The earlier you can get to those kids and make a difference in their numeracy, the better they're gonna do.
So I'll make a motion to reinstate or redo or create new or.
To accept the superintendent's recommendation on
Yeah.
Title I position.
Yeah.
Second?
Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for, on
Let
behalf
us
of
know
the
what she
kids.
says.
On behalf of the kids.
And, the board never wanted to cut that, so we didn't even know that was getting cut, to be honest with you.
Does
So
Melissa, is she aware? Melissa owns that?
She's aware that we're making a proposal.
Okay.
Yeah, we put the proposal in. So,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
going to take a lot of phone calls tomorrow because I have to go back to collective bargaining retreat with Ida, so.
Can I ask one more question on that?
Yeah.
Now, will she do grants? Is that something I saw?
that's part of it, yeah. she
Okay.
put it in.
But it will be separated out.
Stipend, wasn't it?
Stipend from the grant. This way, she spends her entire day with kids.
Right,
And
I did see
the
that.
work, that way we can get the most out of the position, and then she gets a small stipend for doing the grant.
Excellent.
Yeah.
did I forget anything to add to the agenda?
The only thing is the hiring committee for the financial administrator, we need a person for that.
We need a school board member to sit and do the interview for the financial administrator. Do I have any volunteers?
Not me, I'm tapped out for time.
I will
Do
do
you
it.
have time?
Yeah, I'll make time.
There's a certain day, right, Betsy, that you were gonna do that? There is a certain
Monday
day.
at 10, next Monday at 10 a.m.
Next Monday, okay.
Yeah, next Monday at 10 a.m. The position closes, applications close on Friday, unless we get, God walks through the door on the weekend. And we'll review, John's part of that, Rhonda's part of that, Laura's part of that, Sarah, I think, is not available. So we want board representation. And we'll go through them all, we'll pick out who we're gonna interview, we'll get the interview set up as soon as we possibly can in the next couple of days, and we'll determine as a group together when that happens.
Do we receive them yet?
We have 6 or 7.
Here or school or?
Here.
Here, okay.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Anything else that I forgot maybe?
I think that's it.
Okay, so I think we have to go into, do we still have to go into non-public?
Yes, very
Okay.
short.
Okay, so we'll need a motion to go into non-public for personnel, RSA 91A3, Roman numeral 2C.
So moved.
Roll call.
Praise aye.
Keaton.
Over,
Okay. Okay, we're back in public session, and we are going to revisit the bus route really quickly, and we're going to basically say that the bus route that goes Riverside to Sunny Lane, John is going to be checking with a parent to see if there's any concerns, and if there isn't, they'll leave the bus route the way Michelle has recommended from NRT. All those in favor of that?
Aye.
Right.
oh, so moved.
Thank you.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So we're all set there. Okay, and so now we're going to adjourn the meeting, right?
Yep.
Because we're going to have a non-meeting after this.
And there
so-
are no notes during our meeting,
Right.
so.
Oh,
The
okay,
non-meeting doesn't happen, it's not posted and there are no notes.
okay.
So I will have, our next meeting is not August 13th, our next meeting will be August 27th.
That was the one thing I saw.
Or did that not get changed?
I just noticed it.
Second page, second page. Never got to the
yes.
second page. My excuse.
Okay, so, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.